Welcome to our viewers around the world. I'm Carl Azus for CNN Student News. Millions have access to this show, but 3 billion people worldwide will be watching the 22nd Winter Olympics. They start tomorrow in Sochi, Russia. Is the city ready? Journalists have been arriving from all over. Some have found that their accommodations, hotel rooms aren't ready. As of yesterday, construction was still going on in Olympic Park. But Russian officials say everything will be set on February 7th. Here's something in place. The Olympic torch. It traveled almost 25,000 miles from the bottom of the world's deepest lake to the International Space Station before arriving in Sochi Wednesday night. It's more than 6,000 miles from the American heartland to Sochi, Russia. But that doesn't mean we can't give you a tour of the Olympic city.
It's lucky there's a giant Olympic rings to greet you as you walk out of the door at Sochi Airport. If it wasn't for the athletes, you'd be forgiven for thinking you've landed in the wrong place.
Sochi isn't your normal Winter Olympic venue. The sun is blazing down. There's beautiful wide boulevards. You can see why it's known as the Russian Riviera. Just have a look at this beach. The ski jackets and snow boots are left firmly in the suitcase down here at the coastal cluster, which will play host to the figure skating, the hockey and the curling. It's bright sunshine all the way for the next few days. But we have snow and lots of it, 40 kilometers inland and up in the mountains. That really is the beauty of this place. Temperatures here this week are well below zero.
Athletes are arriving day by day and getting in the last-minute practice and preparations. The downhill course has been described as tricky, whilst changes have been made to the snowboard slopestyle course after Norwegian medal contender Torstein Hogmo crashed and broke his collarbone. President Putin didn't need his visit this weekend to convince him of Sochi. The area has long been a favourite skiing haunt of his, but now it's over to the athletes for the real verdict.
Yesterday, about 1 million U.S. homes and businesses were without power, and more than a third of the country's population, from the Midwest to the Northeast, is hunkering down in cold, snow, ice, or all three. It's easier to show you what some of that looks like, with snow piling higher in places like Kansas City, Missouri, as the storm froze its way east. But you can't really see the cold, not like folks in Helena, Montana are feeling it, in high temperatures of 3 degrees below zero. This weather's also having an economic impact.
Out of business because of a broken water pipe.
Found water just all over the place. And
it is hard to imagine anyone more upset about this winter than the owner of Rosal's Italian Cucina in Chicago's Little Italy.
He was literally crying. When I spoke to him on the phone, he was literally crying.
The harsh, unrelenting snow and freezing temperatures have forced cities across the country to shell out thousands in overtime pay to plow streets, and now many areas are running low on road salt, forcing crews to cut back or pay 3 times the regular price for the other white stuff, now in short supply.
Prices have skyrocketed because of the lack of supply.
Several industries are feeling the effects of this winter. Airlines have lost an estimated $250 million, according to analysts. Poor auto sales in the Midwest, South, and East are being blamed on the weather, along with some lower retail sales.
L'ordine più grande è andato via, no?
Even restaurants without broken water pipes are getting hit. At Gyromania in Chicago's Greektown, the owner says his business goes way down.
Okay, $11.87.
During heavy snow or freezing cold.
I might see about a 40% decrease in my carry-out sales. Now we deliver, so I see an increase overall, about a 25% hit.
Okay, not a problem.
Consumers are also feeling the effects.
You hit that pothole and the wheel bottoms out and you get a nice dent in the wheel like that.
business at Ashland Tire and Auto in Chicago has never been better.
Good for you guys, but do you feel bad for some of the customers?
Absolutely, because we're humans too.
The CVS pharmacy chain is getting out of the cigarette business. The company announced yesterday it'll stop selling tobacco products at the more than 7,600 pharmacies it owns. From the company's CEO, ending the sale of cigarettes and tobacco products at CVS Pharmacy is the right thing for us to do for our customers and our company to help people on their path to better health. Put simply, the sale of tobacco products is inconsistent with our purpose. CVS hopes other companies will follow its example. But the decision will cost CVS about $2 billion in yearly revenue. And critics point out that the pharmacy still sells sugary drinks, candy, and alcohol and doesn't plan to get rid of them. Cigarette smoking in the U.S. isn't as widespread as it used to be. The percentage of smokers has dropped from 42% in 1965 to 19% today.
Time for the shout out. What time is it? If you think you know it, shout it out. Is it 7:45, 9, 11:22?
Okay. It depends on when and where and maybe even how you're watching CNN Student News. Timekeeping is not an exact science. I thought my watch was pretty darn accurate at keeping time, but the tiny bit that it loses here and there is unacceptable for the U.S. military. So it's taking the time to track time down to the atom in an effort to address the problem of time loss.
The Pentagon is looking for a solution. This high-tech lab of lasers and mirrors measures the movement of atoms. 429 trillion atomic vibrations add up to just 1 second.
That vibration is sort of the smallest unit of time that we can actually measure.
Their goal is to make the most precise clock in the world. Currently, the source for precision time is GPS satellites, which contain atomic clocks used to synchronize clocks on the ground. But the Pentagon worries the satellites could be jammed, so they want an even more accurate alternative. Your wristwatch loses a second every 30 days. Clocks on GPS satellites lose a second every 30,000 years. This program is aimed at building a clock that wouldn't lose a second for 1 billion years. Synchronizing time has always been vital for soldiers, but now it's more important than ever.
You've got all of these high-speed aircraft, you have precision-guided munitions, you have cameras and sensors and radars that are all operating simultaneously. You have to actually do that synchronization much more precisely.
So, if GPS goes down, troops will face new dangers.
If you were to lose a couple of billionths of a second, your positioning starts to get off by about a meter. You lose a few more billionths of a second, and now you're starting to get off by several meters.
And your life won't be so smooth either. GPS time is in everything from power grids to your cell phone to the ATM you use to get cash. Without precision time, that ATM would eventually stop.
I heard it through the grapevine that some horses are on today's roll call. We're saddling up first in Grapevine, Texas with the Mustangs of Grapevine High School. Up in Nebraska, we're barking up the right tree. Hello to the North Platte High School Bulldogs in North Platte. And in New York State, Union Springs to be specific, watch out for the Wolves of Union Springs Central High School. Sliding into our last story today, a Minnesota family's in the Winter Olympic spirit, and not just because they live in Minnesota. They have a luge in their backyard, and it's no tiny track. It runs the length of 1.5 football fields, and it takes 45 seconds to get from top to bottom. The man who owns it says it started simply as a wall to protect the garden, but that the idea just snowballed from there. For keeping kids occupied on snow days, this thing's on the right track. It's helping neighborhood families twist and shout. It's sled locals to spend more time outside. In short, there's just no way they can luge. Woo! One thing I can count on, for those of you who like the puns, a deluge will always be successful. We'll see you tomorrow on CNN Student News.